buttermilk pie couldn't be any easier. So I've got my pie pan, and I'm gonna use a store-bought pie crust. If you go to the blog, which I've got the link to this recipe at the bottom in the description area, but the recipe on the blog, you can actually do a very fast, right in the pan pie crust for this. And again, couldn't be easier. So if you don't want to use a store-bought, go ahead and make the homemade version. It's seriously easy. It's just butter and flour and a few other things. You mix it in the pan and you pat it down. But I had an extra crust, so I'm just gonna press this in as one does. The nice thing about store-bought crust is it's already in a circle. It fits perfectly, so I'm kind of just working the top into the edge first. And the other thing I want to note, I've got my oven going at 400, and I have a rack set at the lowest part of the oven, as low as you can go. And I've got a baking sheet sitting on it, kind of heating up. It's going to act as a baking stone for the pie. So there's a baking sheet on a rack at the bottom of the oven at 400, heating up. You want that baking sheet to be nice and hot at 400 for about 20 minutes. So by the time you get this pie all put together, it's, you know, the timing is perfect. So if you don't like your edge here, I'm going to do a little fold over crimp. All right, there we go. I also like pricking with tines of a fork, and it just gets some of the, don't go too aggressive, but just lightly get some of the air bubbles out. Now I'm going to just put this in the fridge and let it set a little bit and relax. You're really relaxing the gluten. Chilling it before filling it will allow for the pie to not shrink. So in the fridge it goes. Okay, we're gonna do our filling, and this goes really fast. But I would say with a lot of the chilled ingredients, like the buttermilk, the eggs, and the butter, we kind of want to chill out. So this is softened butter. I've got my eggs that have been sitting out for about 20 minutes just to get some of the chill out, as well as my buttermilk. We're going to whip our butter till it's nice and creamy, right? And then to the butter, we're going to add 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And whip it again. You just want things incorporated. All right, so to this, we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of just all-purpose flour. And if you wanna make this gluten-free, you can get a gluten-free blend. And then we're looking for 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix that up. I've got the zest of 1 lemon, and that is all going in. So yes, there's a strong lemon component to this pie. It complements the tang of the buttermilk and just brightens up the whole experience. I'm also going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ground nutmeg. So that's our fresh ground nutmeg. You can use pre-ground in the store, no big deal. Definitely need some elbow grease for that. I measured it. There you go. And give this a good mix before you add the eggs. Here are 3 eggs that we're going to crack into our mixture. Into the butter versus seizing up the butter and chilling it. That is nice, fluffy, creamy yumminess. Okay, finally we're gonna add the main attraction, the buttermilk. One thing with buttermilk you want to make sure before you measure is, and this is a cup, we've got a cup of buttermilk, and you have to make sure it's shaken well before you measure it, because there's Buttermilk's got a lot of butterfat and milk solids. Although this is a low-fat buttermilk to keep calories down, you can use the full fat. I'm sure it's even better. But yeah, make sure your buttermilk is shaken. So, in that goes. Now, before I'm going to mix this, it's up to you if you want to add a little vanilla or not. Vanilla just kind of, you know, gives a smooth, creamy flavor. If you just want the tang of the buttermilk to be a little stronger, you could skip the vanilla. I like adding it. It just kind of smooths out that custard feeling to the whole pie. And incorporate this in. You're going to pour that. Now we're going to bake this for about 15-20 minutes at this high temp, and then bring it down to 325 and cook it for 45 minutes. Okay, so we are at 400. It's been 15 minutes, and we've got already some browning on the edges, so we definitely have to slow this bad boy down. So, and slow it down, and we're going to time it. You know, it's going so fast, I think I'm going to check it at 40 minutes instead of 45. Usually it's about 45. What we want is a nice golden top. So we'll see. We'll check it in 40 minutes. Slow it down. Okay, I just pulled it out of the oven, and it only took about 30 minutes at 325. So I guess depending on, you know, the type of pan you're using, which when I've used ceramic, it definitely takes longer. This is metal, so it definitely was quicker. There's still a slight jiggle on top, so let it sit and let it set for an hour or two in the nice hot pan. What you're looking for is a spring back to the touch and a nice puffy golden color. So we're gonna let that set, and then we'll have a piece. Oh my God, I couldn't, guys, I really couldn't stop eating this. It's so good. Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna say goodbye. Oh my gosh, so good. So hopefully you're getting some baking done this weekend. Now you know what to do with some extra buttermilk. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me today on Fridays with Flora. Please subscribe to the channel. We're always up to some fun stuff at the homestead. So everything from gardening to crafting, upcycling, tooling around the city, baking, recipe how-tos. Join me and stay up to date on all the fun things. Also, we do have a shop at the blog. So I'm also an art director by day, and I've designed some really fun products that you might want to purchase for the holidays. So check it out. You can go to urbandomesticdiva.com and hit shop, or go to the urbandomesticdivashop.com. There's some really great things, and I'm always adding new things every week. Bye! I'm gonna eat the rest of this. Mmm.